Ever wonder about the original dance battles? In medieval Europe, town squares transformed into unexpected battlegrounds where peasants and nobles faced off with fancy footwork. These competitions crossed social boundaries and changed dance forever. The story of medieval dance battles starts in the bustling town squares of 12th century Europe. On market days, traveling musicians would set up near the fountain, playing lively tunes that caught everyone's attention. At first, it was just simple fun. A merchant might show off a few steps, then a baker would try to do better. Soon, these casual moments turned into friendly competitions. People gathered in circles, cheering as two dancers took turns showing their best moves. What made these battles special was how they brought everyone together. A farmer could challenge a nobleman, and for those few minutes of dance, their social ranks didn't matter. The rules were simple. Each person had to match or top the previous dancer's moves, making the battles more and more exciting as they went on. When harvest season rolled around, peasants turned their dance moves into a whole new level of competition. During festivals, farmers would gather after a long day of work, their boots stomping to the beat of drums and flutes. These harvest competitions became famous for moves like the wheat weave, where dancers twisted and turned like grain in the wind. Farmers created steps that copied their daily work. The scything motion became a smooth glide, while the grain tossing inspired leaps and spins. The best part? These moves weren't just for show. They helped young farmers build strength and skill for their work, while having fun. Local champions emerged, known for their signature steps, and villages would send their best dancers to compete against neighboring towns. Some of these harvest festival moves actually survived and became part of traditional folk dances we still know today. The story takes an interesting turn when we look at how the nobles started copying these peasant dances. While they publicly claimed to prefer refined court dances, many lords and ladies were secretly practicing those lively peasant moves. In their private chambers, they would try to master the wheat weave and other popular folk steps. Some even hired peasant dancers as secret teachers. The nobles added their own fancy touches, like graceful hand movements and proper posture, creating a mix of styles. This blend of peasant energy and noble grace led to new dance forms that spread across Europe. Young nobles especially loved these dances, often sneaking out to village festivals in disguise to learn new steps. Before long, these common dances started showing up at royal balls, though with slightly more polished moves. Let's talk about one of the most famous dance battles in medieval history, the legendary Showdown of 1342. In the town of Lyon, France, a skilled peasant dancer named Jean challenged Duke Robert of Burgundy to a dance-off right in the town square. The Duke, known for his love of village dances, accepted the challenge. Crowds gathered as Jean started with the popular wheat weave, adding his own spins. The Duke responded with a mix of court steps and folk moves. Back and forth they went, each trying to outdo the other. As the story goes, the battle lasted 3 rounds, with both dancers showing amazing skill. In the end, the Duke admitted Jean was the better dancer and rewarded him with a small plot of land. This famous battle showed how dance could bridge the gap between social classes, even if just for one afternoon. The story gets even better when we look at how craft guilds turned into secret dance crews. Carpenters, blacksmiths, and weavers formed their own dance groups, practicing after dark in workshop basements. Each guild developed signature moves based on their trade. Blacksmiths created powerful stomping routines, while weavers became known for their smooth, flowing movements. These groups added a competitive edge to town festivals, where different guilds would face off in organized battles. They even created special symbols and hand signs to recognize fellow dancers from other towns. The best part? They kept detailed records of their dance moves in coded notebooks, some of which still exist today. These guild dancers became local celebrities, with apprentices dreaming of joining these exclusive crews just as much as learning their trades. These dance battles weren't just freestyle chaos, they had detailed rules everyone had to follow. When dancers stepped into the circle, they had to bow to their opponent first, showing respect no matter their social class. Each dancer got 3 turns to show their moves, starting with simple steps and building up to their best tricks. Touching your opponent was strictly forbidden, and dancers had to stay within their marked space. Judges, usually respected elders or experienced dancers, watched for proper form and creativity. Breaking these rules could get you banned from future competitions. The crowd played a big role too. They had to stay quiet during performances and show appreciation for both dancers, rich or poor. These rules helped keep the peace and made sure everyone got a fair chance to shine. The musicians were the real MVPs of medieval dance battles, bringing more than just background music to these showdowns. Traveling bands would mix traditional songs with fresh beats, using everything from drums and flutes to simple pots and pans. These clever musicians learned to read the crowd and match the music to each dancer's style. Some became famous for their signature rhythms, like Marcus the Mad Drummer from Bristol, who could speed up or slow down the beat to make dancers look better or trip up their rivals. Musicians even developed a secret code of musical signals to warn dancers when town guards were coming. They'd create special tunes for different social classes, helping bridge the gap between noble and common dancers. The best bands became local legends, with towns competing to host them during festival season. The mixing of dance styles between nobles and peasants created something totally new and exciting. Noble dancers began adding graceful spins to peasant stomps, while village dancers borrowed the smooth hand movements from court dances. In fancy ballrooms, you'd spot lords performing energetic harvest jigs, just with better posture. Meanwhile, in village festivals, peasants would add elegant court twirls to their traditional moves. Some creative dancers even made up new steps combining both styles, like the royal roundabout that mixed a peasant's circular hop with a noble's refined arm positions. Dance teachers started traveling between villages and castles, spreading these mixed-up moves everywhere. Soon you couldn't tell if a dance came from the fields or the palace, and that's exactly what made it so special. The church wasn't too happy about all this dancing in the streets. Local priests would march into town squares, waving their hands and calling these dance battles sinful celebrations. They wrote angry letters to bishops, claiming the dances were leading young people astray. Some churches even threatened to ban dancers from Sunday services. But here's the funny part. Their plans totally backfired. The more they tried to stop the dancing, the more popular it became. Young people started holding secret dance meets in barns and forests. Even some younger priests joined in, arguing that dancing brought the community together. By 1350, most church officials gave up trying to control the dance scene, realizing it was better to accept than fight against this unstoppable trend. Those medieval dance battles left a bigger mark on today's dance world than you might think. The idea of dance circles, where performers take turns in the center, comes straight from those town square showdowns. Breakdancing battles follow the same basic rules: show respect, take turns, and try to outdo the last person's moves. Even some modern dance moves have medieval roots. That spin move breakdancers use? It's surprisingly similar to the old miller's turn from grain grinding days. Those guild competitions set up the framework for modern dance crews and competitions. And just like back then, dance still brings people together across social boundaries. Today's street dancers and formal performers mix styles just like those medieval nobles and peasants did, creating fresh moves that blur traditional lines. Thanks for joining us on this journey through medieval dance battles. They shaped dance culture in ways we still see today. If you enjoyed learning about these historical moves, hit like, subscribe, and share with your dance-loving friends.